You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on into Locked On Kentucky, your daily Kentucky Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Lance Dahl, also co-host of On the Line on ESPN 106.7 and Fox Sports Central Alabama, also writer for USA Today for various SEC-related things. But on this podcast specifically, we take a dive into all things Kentucky athletics. Really appreciate you guys making Locked On Kentucky your first listen every single day. Want to remind everybody that we are free and available on all podcast platforms. Today's episode is brought to you by NetSuite. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. Head to netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA for special end-of-the-year financing on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. All right, so early signing day, national signing day, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. It is officially wrapped up. Kentucky finished the early signing period, number 11 in the country. They are number 4 in the SEC, according to 24/7 Sports recruiting rankings. It was a fantastic class for the Wildcats, one of the best that they've had in a very long time, if not ever. We're going to recap every single player that has signed and or committed, obviously, because of the offensive tackle Keonta Goodwin. He is not officially signed with the Wildcats, but he has committed, at least from my understanding, according to 24/7 Sports. So we're going to break down every single player on today's episode. We're going to go through what they bring to the table and what was said about them by their individual position coaches. Really excited to get into it. So let's go ahead and kick it off here with the we're going to start at the bottom of the class and we're going to work our way up. So at the bottom of the class, Jackson Smith, the 2-star kicker out of Danville, Kentucky. He is 5'11", 170 pounds. Again, a kicker out of Boyle County High School. He is the number 14 kicker in the 2022 recruiting class, number 19 player in the state of Kentucky. He had another offer from Eastern Kentucky and obviously chose the Wildcats over EKU. You look at some of his numbers. He was 198 of 208 on extra points and 12 of 14 on field goals. When you watch some of his film, something that is good to note about Smith is that he has, and this is something actually his position coaches mentioned, he has elevation on his kick, so it's not going to get blocked. He drives them. He doesn't drive them out. He doesn't drive them like it's not like a flat kick. He drives it up, so again, it's not going to get blocked. He's tested very well at kicking camps. He also does kickoffs, punts outside of just field goals, and he also played wide receiver for a little bit during his time, again, at Boyle County High School. All right, moving along here, Elijah Reed, second guy up in the 2022 recruiting class, 3-star prospect out of Louisville, Kentucky. Pleasure Ridge Park is where his high school is located. Local product, obviously. Defensive back coach Chris Collins said Kentucky wants length in the secondary, and they certainly get that with Elijah Reed. He's listed at 6'3", 180 pounds, the 131 quarterback in the country, number 14 prospect in the state of Kentucky. He was being looked at by Utah, Illinois, Purdue, West Virginia, and multiple other schools. I believe he just recently actually visited with the Utah Utes, but he eventually signed with the Kentucky Wildcats. Again, length is something that is really important in this defensive backs class, according to Chris Collins. He also said that he has really good work ethic. Chris Collins did about Elijah Reed. He is going to be used as a press corner that will work well in man-to-man situations because of his length. It really seems that he benefits from those press situations. I have watched some of his film, and I will say he's obviously raw in certain areas. His hips are still just a little tight for a cornerback. I think he's definitely going to develop along just fine. His size definitely has helped him out up until this point in his career, and I certainly imagine it's going to continue to benefit him during his time Division I at the University of Kentucky. All right, Brandon White, wide receiver in the 2022 recruiting class, 3-star kid out of Cincinnati, Ohio, 5'9", 165 pounds, undersized guy. but he plays larger than his size and has great athleticism and can jump. Wide receiver coach Scott Woodyard said speed was a priority in this class, and White definitely brings that to the table. He's a vertical threat that will primarily be used in the slot. Again, only 5'9", 165 pounds. He's a speedster. And then again, that, like I just said, that's something that this coaching staff emphasized in this class. They wanted speed. They certainly got it with Brandon White. All right, Josh Caddis, tight end. He is listed at 6'4", 235 pounds, 3-star kid out of Cincinnati, Ohio, as well as Brandon White. Vince Morrow, tight ends coach, says that Kentucky already has athletic tight ends on the roster, such as Isaiah Cummings, that can actually be like legitimate receiving threats. But what they wanted in this year's class was inline blockers, and Caddis definitely provides that. His father played as a tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals. He also, his father played at the University of Michigan. So Caddis grew up understanding the position, understanding how to play. It's very apparent whenever you watch his film that he's been coached very well during his time in high school. He's got very soft hands. He can catch. He is very athletic. But what, again, Kentucky wanted in this class was a very physical blocker. And again, Josh Caddis, when you break down some of his film, whenever you look at some of his blocking film, man, he's very aggressive. You absolutely love to see that from your tight ends. And I would like to see how he's utilized in the future, specifically on the edge, not just as an inline blocker, but how's he used on the edge and sweeps and stuff like that. I think he can definitely help out in all different areas of the running game, especially if he's going to develop as like a legitimate receiving threat, right? I would like to see him on the outside as well blocking, because if he can do both, I mean, he's just going to be a really, really nice specimen that Kentucky can utilize in a lot of different ways moving forward. All right, Tomiwa Durojai. I really hope I'm not butchering his name. I believe it is Tomiwa. That is how you pronounce his name. Defensive lineman out of Middletown, Delaware. 6'4", 255-pound kid, 3-star in the 24/7 Sports recruiting rankings. Explosive and long, will play on the edge for Kentucky. Defensive line coach Anwar Stewart says he is a violent player and says that he has Josh Paschal-like qualities. Final player here before we move on. Saquon Frazier, the cornerback. Kentucky does not have a breakdown of him. I went and watched some of his film and just kind of gave my assessment. He's got good quickness. He had taken an official visit to UTSA in Utah, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Texas Tech, Washington, and Indiana were among his offers. I was not personally impressed with a lot of his film. It felt like he consistently he plays well as a corner, but there were times in his film where it was not a highlight of him sticking with the receiver. It was a highlight of him getting beat and then having to recover, and it was typically a bad ball that the quarterback had put, and so it allowed Frazier to make a play on it. So I definitely want to see more out of this young man. I'm not saying that he's a bad player. I was just not necessarily impressed with the highlights that I got to see from him. I want to see more film on him where he's actually being forced to get into position to make a play on a legitimate throw or on a legitimate route that a receiver is running. Again, not saying that this kid's bad. I didn't get to see some legitimate film on him. All right, we're going to talk about more of Kentucky's 2022 recruiting class in just a second. Today's show brought to you by NetSuite. This is it, the putt to win the tournament. If you sink it, the championship is yours. But on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're still relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance software? To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth. With visibility and control over your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. With NetSuite, you can automate your processes and close your books in no time while staying well ahead of your competition. 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control after upgrading to NetSuite, and over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. Right now, through the end of the year, NetSuite is offering one-of-a-kind financing programs to those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA. Head to netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA for special end-of-the-year financing on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. That's netsuite.com/LockedOnNCAA. All right, so continuing along here, breaking down every single recruit so far in the 2022 recruiting class for the University of Kentucky. Again, Kentucky is sitting at 11th nationally. They are 4th in the SEC. It has been an absolutely phenomenal year for this coaching staff and Mark Stoops in terms of recruiting. We're going to continue along here, breaking down every single player. Moving up here, Quintin Jones, defensive lineman. He is another piece of this class where Kentucky really seems to have gotten after a lot of different defensive linemen. 6'2", 315 pounds. He's going to play nose tackle for the Wildcats. He is a 3-star prospect out of Fort Valley, Georgia. Played at Peach County High School. Was the number 86 overall defensive lineman in the country. He was the number 59 prospect in the state of Georgia. Really just shows you. And this is not a knock on the state of Kentucky by no means. I'm just observing. Jackson Smith, as a kicker, as a 2-star kicker, was the 19th overall player in the state of Kentucky, and then a 3-star nose tackle out of Georgia is the 59th best player in the state. It definitely shows you that Texas, Georgia, Florida, California, places like that, they really truly are football powerhouses whenever it comes to recruiting. But Quintin Jones is a nose guard. Anwar Stewart, the defensive line coach for Kentucky, said quickness was a priority in this class on the defensive line, and even for a nose tackle, Quintin Jones is very, very quick. He plays with passion. I absolutely love this guy's film. Plays with quickness, plays with aggressiveness. For a nose tackle, he moves. I mean, he moves really, really well. I absolutely love this kid's film. I think he could potentially develop into a legitimate stud for the Wildcats moving on down the road. All right, Nick Hall, offensive tackle, 6'6", 310 pounds. He is out of Austin, Texas. He played at Atkins High School. And this is a guy, while he may not be rated very high, again, only a 3-star kid, you watch some of his film, absolutely love it. Eric Wolford, the offensive line coach, said that he is an aggressive tackle that is versatile, has really good length, and moves well. Hall also played defensive line a little bit during his time in high school. Wolford said that he can become one of the best linemen Kentucky has had in a very long time. And I mean, he certainly has the size to do it at 6'6". And I'll just say, if he's able to rotate either left or right tackle, I definitely think that he is a very valuable piece, especially as a 3-star in this class. Moving on up here, Andre Stewart, cornerback. Is also a 3-star, 6 feet tall, 169 pounds, out of Kennesaw, Georgia. He played at North Cobb High School. Chris Collins, the defensive backs coach, described this kid as tremendously savvy. Stewart lacks a little bit of height. Again, he's only 6 feet tall, but he has very, very long arms for his size and instinct to make up for the lack of height. He gets downhill very quick. You watch some of his film in run support. He does not shy away from contact despite his size. This is a kid that I really, really liked. Loved his film as well. Really liked what I saw from this kid in terms of instinct and just ability to go out and hit somebody, because you could see on his film he really enjoyed doing so. Jordan Anthony, athlete. He is a 3-star prospect out of Tylertown, Mississippi. Played at Tylertown High School. Again, 3-star prospect. He is 5'9", 160 pounds. He is an undersized receiver, obviously, as I just noted, but he is crazy fast. Crazy fast. You watch this kid's film, I mean, he is gone. Like, he is incredibly quick, like SEC caliber speed quick. Like, it is no joke. He will return punts. He played defensive back a little bit as well at his high school. Hit very, very hard as a defensive back. Absolutely love this kid's film. All right, Cade Albert. This is somebody that we talked about, I believe, on yesterday's show. I obviously know about Albert because of my ties to Auburn. He was a commitment to Auburn initially. Auburn completely backed off of him for whatever reason, and then Kentucky came in and stole him right before early signing day. 5'11", 175-pound athlete, 3-star prospect out of Fairfield, Alabama. Played at Fairfield Prep. Had 2 interceptions as a junior. Also had 267 receiving yards. So he played both ways. I'm not sure what he's going to play for the Wildcats. I would assume he's going to play receiver. But either way, this is just a complete athlete that Kentucky is getting. Really nice piece as a 3-star prospect. Moving along here, Destin Wade. This may be my favorite pickup of the entire class. He is listed as an athlete. He plays quarterback. He could also, if Kentucky wanted to, they could probably put this kid at running back, and I would not be mad at it, but he's going to play quarterback. He's very, very athletic, got great size, 6'3", 205 pounds, 4-star again. He is from Spring Hill, Tennessee, played high school ball at Summit High School, had offers from Baylor, Cincinnati. He also had an offer from Arizona State, Kansas, Louisville, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Penn State, Texas A&M, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, West Virginia. I mean, the list just goes on for this kid. Really, really talented guy. He has great running ability. I think that's obviously what stands out about him. That's why I said that he could potentially work as a running back for the Wildcats. Has really good downfield accuracy as well. Do not misconstrue this. This is not a kid that can only just run. This is a kid that can also throw as well. He's got a really nice deep ball. I will say, if I'm going to knock something on this kid, whenever he loads up to throw, he loads up low. He doesn't necessarily put his shoulder into it. He doesn't rotate his shoulders around like to throw downfield. He loads up low with his elbow, and it just kind of looks weird, kind of coming out of his hand initially. But it's not a sidearm throw or anything like that. It just looks a little weird to me. But it's not necessarily an issue. Again, if he's getting the ball downfield and he's capable of putting accuracy and touch on the ball, I don't necessarily think that mechanic is a big issue. That's the only thing I could really critique around him. He's got really good footwork for a high school quarterback. I noticed he doesn't necessarily click his heels that often. That's a tendency that you see in high school quarterbacks. He looks like his 3-step drops and his 5-step drops are pretty darn solid. So I really liked what I saw out of Destin Wade whenever I got to break down some of his film. Really like him. I think that he could potentially be the next man up after Will Levis graduates. Love the potential I saw in quarterback Destin Wade. All right, in just a second, we're going to talk about the final 6 commitments of this class, and we're just going to talk about overview, just kind of what I thought about National Signing Day. We're going to break all that down in just a second. Today's episode brought to you by Boost Mobile. You listen to podcasts for the power of the inside track. You switch to Boost Mobile for the power of saving money. Because with Boost, you get the power of a free 5G phone so you can listen to the latest episodes and keep up with your favorite players and teams. The power of 3 unlimited data lines for $30 a month per line so your family can share all the insights, and the power of one of America's largest 5G networks so you can do it all at the speed of 5G. With all that money you'll save and all that edge you'll gain, just how powerful will you become? You can switch to Boost Mobile and find out. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A32 5G when you switch to one of America's largest 5G networks. More power to save. Boost Mobile. Disclaimer: free phone limited to new customers and 1 per line. Additional restrictions apply. Offers and coverage not available everywhere for all phones or networks. See boostmobile.com for more details. Today's show also brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered all season long with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues its march into the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season, so head over to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, do not wait. Take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so wrapping up the Thursday edition of Locked On Kentucky. Again, really appreciate you guys making Locked On Kentucky your first listen every single day. Want to remind everybody again that we are free and available on all podcast platforms. And if you would do so, go ahead and please subscribe so that you get notified whenever the next episode of Locked On Kentucky comes out. All right, final 6 commitments here. Grant Bingham, offensive tackle. He's listed as an offensive tackle, but Kentucky, according to the offensive line coach Eric Wolford, they're going to use him as a guard. 6'6", 302 pounds, out of Paintsville, Kentucky. 4-star kid, number 30 overall offensive tackle in the 2022 class. Number 3 player out of the state of Kentucky. Love to see the Wildcats picking up the best prospects in their own state. Out of Johnson Central High School, had various offers from Arizona State, Arkansas, Miami, Michigan, Michigan State, South Carolina, Stanford, TCU. I mean, just your your standard Power 5 schools, and then Kentucky just casually swooping in and being like, oh, well, I'll take this 4-star offensive tackle. Thank you very much. Absolutely love the size that Grant possesses, and especially so with the fact that Eric Wolford thinks that this guy can churn into a versatile piece that can play four different positions. He can either play either guard spot or either tackle spot for the Wildcats moving forward, but he's probably going to play guard. At least that's what Wolford said. He's probably going to play guard. Like this kid's film, very physical and run blocking. He played on a high school team in Johnson Central that really liked to run the football, so there was a lot of highlights of him in run blocking. Very physical player, and again, love the size to complement it. All right, Alex Afari. He's listed as an athlete. He is most likely going to play cornerback. Or not most likely, he is going to play cornerback for the Wildcats. 6'2", 195 pounds, 4-star kid, number 12 player overall in the state of Ohio, number 16 athlete nationally, out of Westchester, Ohio. Played at Lakota West High School. You look at some of this kid's film. He's very long, athletic, very quick. Something that Chris Collins used several times to describe him was fluid, and you can absolutely see that when you break down this kid's film. This may be my second favorite player in the class. I think Destin Wade is definitely my first. I think this kid Alex Afari may be my second, just because he is that word. He's very fluid. He seems like he understands what he's doing. He moves very well. Can hit really hard. You can see that in his film, can lay the wood. Played offense as well a little bit. That's why he's listed as an athlete. So it's just a physical freak, just a casual, for Kentucky football, it's just a casual, another 4-star kid, no big deal. Just Kentucky out here with the number 11 recruiting class in the nation. It's because of kids like this. All right, Dion Walker, defensive lineman. You talking about studs? 6'6", 350 pounds, 4-star, number 6 player in the state of Michigan, number 38 overall defensive lineman in the 2022 recruiting class. What jumps off the page whenever you watch this kid's film, like I just mentioned, 6'6", 350 pounds. The kid is massive. He is a massive interior defensive lineman. Works very well in different hand techniques on the line, very quick, very lengthy, and plays with motor. And Anwar Stewart was just speaking volumes of praise and really hyped this kid up whenever he was asked about him. I mean, he is just a phenomenal piece for Kentucky. He is absolutely huge. Like, this guy, if he can continue to establish that motor that he had in high school, if that can translate to the SEC, man, this kid is going to be something really special. Loved what I saw out of Dion Walker. All right, Dane Key, wide receiver out of Frederick Douglass High School in Lexington, Kentucky, hometown kid. Wide receiver, 6'2", 190 pounds, 4-star athlete, best player in the state of Kentucky, number 39 overall wide receiver in the 2022 recruiting class. His father played at Kentucky. And Dane Key is the all-time leading receiver at Frederick Douglass. His high school had over 1,700 receiving yards and 26 touchdowns during his high school career. You like the height, 6'2", 190 pounds. He's got time to grow into his body. I think he's got really good ball skills and hand-eye coordination. He tracks the ball extremely well whenever it's in the air. He also has really good route running. He's fluid. I think that he's not necessarily the fastest guy out there, but I definitely think that he's definitely capable of starting at Kentucky relatively soon. All right, Tyrese Fearby, defensive end, has elite speed. This kid, I'll tell you what, jumps off the page for me, elite speed. He is out of Perry Traditional Academy, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 6'5", 225 pounds, 4-star kid, number 5 player in the state of Pennsylvania, number 12 edge, in the 2022 recruiting class. Again, like I mentioned, this kid for 6'5", 225 pounds, and defensive line coach noted this, he is really quick. Really quick. That's the reason he's playing edge. He plays that position very well. You watch some of his film, it's just bam, right in your face. He's in the backfield. The offensive tackle, if he takes a bad step, he's gone. He's dead in the water. The quarterback's probably crying for his mama. This is an absolute steal for Kentucky. At least I think, especially considering his size. Absolutely love this kid's film. He's probably my third favorite player in this class. All right, Berrien Brown. Final two here. Berrien Brown, wide receiver out of Nashville, Tennessee, Pearl Con High School, 6'1", 173 pounds, 4-star kid, number 3 player in the state of Tennessee. That's huge. Number 22 wide receiver in the 2022 recruiting class. This kid had some really serious offers. He had offers from Alabama, Auburn, TCU, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Miami, Michigan State, Michigan, Missouri, Ole Miss, Oregon, Penn State, Texas A&M, Texas. Oh my goodness, this kid has had this. This kid. I don't take this the wrong way. This kid is not somebody that Kentucky gets. If you understand what I'm saying, this is not the caliber of player that Kentucky normally ends up with. This kid is an absolute stud. He's very quick. Again, talking about what Kentucky is prioritizing in this class is speed, and Berrien Brown possesses that. Played several positions on the offensive side of the ball. He reminds me of Brandon Ayuk for Arizona State. He's very, very comfortable with the ball in his hands. This is something that the receivers coach continued to harp on over and over during the film breakdown. Is that Scott Woodyard kept saying, anytime you can get the ball in this kid's hands, he is going to be electric. It may be a house call, maybe a crib call for Berrien Brown. He is very, very comfortable moving with the ball in his hands, and he's somebody like Brandon Ayuk that I think if you get him the ball, get him different touches, he's going to succeed. Who does that sound like for Kentucky that they've had in the past? Well, Lynn Bowden would be one. Let's see now. Tavion Robinson could potentially be that this year. Wandale Robinson has been that certainly for the Wildcats this season. I'm not necessarily saying that this is an AP kind of guy, like an all-purpose kind of guy, but he lined up in a lot of different places during his time in high school. This is another guy in a long line of receivers that have been able to do a lot. Potentially for the Kentucky Wildcats. This kid is going to be something special. All right, final guy here. He did not sign, but he did commit, at least from my understanding, according to what 27 Sports says. Keonta Goodwin, offensive tackle, 5-star kid. There were rumblings that he may potentially flip to Michigan. There were rumblings that he may potentially go elsewhere. You look at his offer sheet, Michigan State was also on that list. Alabama was on that list. Texas A&M was on that list. Auburn, Clemson, Florida, Georgia. I mean, those are some of the big names. LSU, Miami, everybody and their mother wanted this kid, obviously, because he's a 5-star tackle. But what stands out, 6'8", 340 pounds. This kid is 18 years old. Does not make sense. 6'8", 340 pounds. Number 1 player in the state of Indiana. Number 4 overall offensive tackle in the class. Number 25 player nationally. 25th best player in the country to go into the Wildcats. Wow. Ohio State was also in the mix as well for this kid. I mean, out of Charleston, Indiana, Charleston High School. This just kind of blows me away that Kentucky's able to pick up guys like this, man. I'm just kind of shocked. I'm shocked that they held on to him. I'm shocked that nobody else came after him and got him. Very physical specimen. He's got that explosiveness. A lot of these kids in this class, by the way, when we turn on the tape, something that stands out to me is just explosiveness. Like, they just get off the ball quickly. Offensively, defensively, even receivers, they've got great first steps. Plays with physicality and intensity. He really finishes on different plays. He's very coordinated for a guy that's 6'8". Both very, very solid in pass protection and run blocking. He's got great work ethic. According to his coaches, this is a guy that I'm really excited about. He's not my favorite pickup in the class just because it's like, well, that's the clear-cut best player in the class. But I definitely think that guys like Alex Afari and Tyrese Fearby and Destin Wade, the quarterback, I definitely think different guys like that could potentially really blossom into something special. But Keonta Goodwin, the gem of this 2022 recruiting class, and that's where we end the recap there. He is just an absolute stud, and I'm very, very excited to see him playing for the Wildcats in the years to come. And again, just to put a bow on it, number 11 nationally, number 4 in the SEC are the Kentucky Wildcats in the 24/7 Sports recruiting rankings. Who would have thought that Kentucky would be able to climb to a point like this 4, 5, 6 years ago? I'm not saying that Kentucky's a football school, because obviously basketball is still very much so respected. But man, Mark Stoops is building something special, and you guys thought he might leave. I did not think that he was going to leave, and I think this recruiting class is just evidence why. It's evidence why Mark Stoops is not going to leave, because he is building something already here with the Wildcats. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Kentucky. Really appreciate you guys listening and hanging out today. Now that you've listened to the episode and you've gotten to listen to my breakdown of the entire 2022 recruiting class, make your second listen today Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs, hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It is free and available on all platforms. On tomorrow's show, we're going to be breaking down Kentucky basketball versus Ohio State. We're going to be previewing that matchup. I'm going to try not to cry because I just feel like Kentucky's going to go and get blown out after what I saw against Notre Dame this past weekend. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked On UK. You can follow me on Twitter at DawPound. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to talk about, shoot me a DM, tag me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I will see you all tomorrow. Go Wildcats, and God bless.